Hey guys, this is a last minute idea to do this video, but I wanted to go ahead and do it because apparently I'm the only one in the family that knows how to make cornbread dressing. So here it goes. I'm going to be giving you guys my nanny's recipe. That's the one that I use. And the first thing we're doing here is some prepping for the main dish, and her recipe calls for 1.5 cups of bell pepper diced, 1.5 cups of celery diced, and 1 medium onion diced. So what I've already done here is me and my daughter Marissa chopped up everything very finely, but what that 1.5 cups equated to was 5 celery stalks, 1 complete, I used a sweet onion, and 1.5 bell peppers. They were pretty good sized bell peppers, so you could probably use 2 small ones. So we've got this all chopped up. I've got 4 eggs boiled and ready to go. And I'm going to be making the cornbread. For the cornbread dressing, you use the white cornbread, not the yellow. I'll be showing you that in a minute. But you can see this. This is a pretty big container because I'm going to be making a really big pan of dressing. And that's the measurements. 1.5 cups of bell pepper, onion, and celery. Okay, here's the cornbread that I'm going to be using for the dressing. You'll notice it is the white cornbread, not the yellow. If you use the yellow, it kind of comes out tasting like stovetop stuffing, not the traditional cornbread dressing. Each bag is going to take 1 egg and 2/3 cup of milk. And I'm only going to be able to make 2 of them at a time. I have 4 cake pans, but we're only going to put 2 in the oven at a time. So I'm going to mix up 2, bake 2, mix up the other 2, bake the other 2. Alright, so here we've got the first 2 packages mixed up. The oven's been set to 400 because the directions say 425 and my gas oven is hotter than normal. It says 15 to 20 minutes or until brown. So I've got 400. We're going to put 15 minutes, and then as soon as these are almost ready to come out, we'll be mixing up the other 2 and popping them in these other 2 pans. Alright, so here we've got all 4 cornbreads baked and ready to go. We're not going to do anything with them right now because it's not time yet, but they'll be cooling while we do other stuff. Okay guys, here is the next step of the cornbread dressing, and my nanny's recipe called for 2 to 3 turkey thighs or 4 turkey wings, but unfortunately the store was out of giblet stuff and turkey stuff. So I'm going to do what my Mimi did and use chicken. So right in here I've got 5 chicken thighs with 1 onion, white onion, some salt and pepper, and all I'm going to do is boil this to make the broth for the dressing. Yes, you can buy broth in the can or the carton or however you want it, but she always made her own. And what we're going to do besides, this is a 6-quart pot, so you put about 5 quarts of water, I guess, in here. And but I'm actually going to take, when the chicken's finished boiling and the broth is done, I'm going to take the chicken out, skin it, debone it, chop it up, and actually put it in the dressing. My Mimi did that. And my nanny put meat in hers too. So I'm not just boiling the chicken to make broth, I'm going to also use the meat from the chicken inside the dressing. But we got to let that boil until everything is done, foamy, frothy. And then we'll have our juice, and then we'll have our chicken that I'll shred up. I've already got my boiled eggs ready. And that'll be about it. Thanks. Okay, the chicken thighs have finished boiling, and I've let them cool off some, so I'm just going to take them out of here, take the skin off, and chop up all the meat, and then store the broth for making the dressing in separate containers. I'm going to put the chicken in one and the broth in different one. Alright, catch you in a bit. So here you can see that I've skinned, deboned, and chopped up all the thigh meat. This is from 5 chicken thighs, and then this is my broth that I'm going to use for the dressing. If I have extra, I can make some gravy with it to put on the dressing. But it's quite a bit of meat that I'm going to be putting in the dressing, and I guess these are quarts. So I've got 2 quarts of broth. I may or may not need it. Like I said, if I have extra juice, I'll make some gravy with it. Alright, I think the next step would be mixing it all together. See you in a bit. Okay, in this pan you'll see that Marissa and I have crumbled up all 4 of the cornbread loaves and also added 4 slices of white bread. I'm not sure why, that's just how my grandma's recipe was, so we did it. And the next, I'm not going to question it because it was delicious anyways. So the next step is we're going to add the chicken, the veggies, and the boiled eggs. And I'll get back with you in a second. Okay, you can see here that we've got everything mixed in to the dressing. And it did fill this big old pan up. I was thinking this pan was too big, but after adding the chicken, the eggs, and all the vegetables, it's actually the perfect size. So the only thing left to do is pour the chicken broth on top and mix it in, which I am doing now. Which, of course, when you pour the chicken broth in, it kind of flattens out the stuffing. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and put both. And then I'm going to get this all mixed up afterwards and put it in the oven. Let me see. It's my nanny's recipe. She's not here with us anymore, and her recipes, the paper's starting to turn yellow, so I'm going to have to type them up. Let's see. Cultures and mix all together. Start adding both a little at a time until moist and loose. You cut up meat for more taste. Okay. Could you give me a spoon, Marissa, so I can stir this? Oh, this little bitty one. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put the other one because I could already tell it's not moist enough. So I'm gonna put the other quart of juice in because it's got to be like wet, and then you bake the moisture out, and that's what makes the dressing like consistency. Oh, there's a spoon in here. That's just seasoning and onion, so it's going to get mixed up in here too. You want it nice and moist because you don't want a dry dressing. You want a moist dressing. So after you get your broth all mixed in, you're just going to put it in the oven and bake it until the top is browned, and then it'll be done. I'll show you guys the end result in a bit. Okay everyone, my cornbread dressing is now done. I cooked it on about 350 for an hour. My grandma's recipe didn't have a temp or a duration, but it's done. And you can see I had to put another pan underneath this aluminum one because it's so heavy that it just bends. The pan is not sturdy enough. But I'm just going to put it back in the oven to keep it warm. I've turned it off. But yep, there it is. Cornbread dressing. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope you try out this recipe. Thanks for watching.